Circular economy, is that the solution at the ecological problems that we are facing as humanity? Or it is a simple idea that is doomed to fail? Today we are going to analyze first what it is, what it really is circular economy. Second, what are the relation between the new concept or the old concept of circular economy and the traditional economy that is called the linear economy. Third, we are going to analyze who is going or who has embraced circular economy. And four, we are going to analyze also if this philosophical concept is doomed to fail or if in some cases has some application in the real world. But before starting, remember that you have my book on inflation. In the description of the presentation, you will find the link in order to get it. And in that book, you will have every answer you need about inflation and how to protect from it. Circular economy is a new concept or a new philosophy to see the economy. And it opposes what is known as the linear economy. The linear economy, to start with it, is a system where you have companies that manufacture products that are used and that produce a waste that is thrown away. So, thanks to the linear economy, you have a production of goods and services, and its waste is thrown away. The circular economy see its origin, its recent origin, because it has been always a concept of discussion in a certain ways. But its recent origin started in the 1970s by Walter Style. Walter Style had the idea to produce product that could last more so that they were able to reduce the waste. Because if you have a production of a product, that you produce this product and then it lasts, its life is short, then you throw it and you need to buy another one. And it will create a waste. So, finally, Dr. Style had the idea to have products that are able to stand more. Then there had been other concept, the closed loop economy, which is an economy where you actually don't have any production of waste, but all these concepts are united by the concept of circular economy. That is, basically, you have product, then you have the product manufacturing, the product use, and then you have a reuse, recycle, and remanufacturing. The idea is to reduce as much the production of waste and also to extend the lifespan of product. Because if you have products that last more, obviously you have less waste, less pollution, and a better environment. So the concept and the philosophy of circular economy, it turns around the environment and how to protect it, how to improve human condition in a better and less polluted environment. So, as many economic theory, the main point is to make life for humans better thanks to some idea that apply on the economic world. But if we go, for example, a little bit few centuries or back in time, you had, for example, Karl Marx, that was an economist too, was a philosopher and an economist. So if you ask Marx if we were able to go back to his time and have a conversation with him, it would be a very nice conversation, because Marx probably would have told you, yeah, I want a better world. I want a world without social class. We are all equal, and we have to live all well in an equal condition, because as human beings, we are all equals. So, under his point of view, if you listen to him, you say, wow, that's a genius. And this geniality could improve the world. And actually, there were many, many countries and many, many government systems that embraced the Marx philosophy. Now, the question is, did the Marx philosophy succeed, or it has been a failure that brought many of the countries that embraced it to the failure, to disastrous results? And there is, for example, there aren't any exact estimation, but we could say that the socialism and the communism brought more than 100 million death on the planet. It has been, in his application, his philosophy, a very deadly one, and one of the worst moments that we have lived on the planet. Because if you listen to it, it was actually wonderful, because it opened the door to a better society. But to have opened the doors to a better society, it doesn't mean that you actually reach it. Maybe you have some idealistic or some utopic ideas that probably are very good to listen, but impossible to apply. So, but what is and what are also the dangers of circular economy? Well, if you listen of what it is, I mean, it sounds logic, it sounds very logic. And then you have to think, who embraced the circular economy concept? Well, first you have always the European. The European, when you have some strange idea, you are always the first in line to take them. And the European, what they did in 1975, they had the idea to implement some of the circular economy principles and to arrive by the year 2020 with a society that worked based on the principles, based on the circular economy philosophy. Then you have all progressist groups, the one that are the grandson of the Marxist and the great grandson of the Marxists and of the socialists. All these groups of people embraced circular economy because, in a certain way, it brings, or apparently it brings, to a new world. And then you have big companies. Big companies around the world are all progressist. That's normal, because progressist ideas usually sound better than simply liberal ideas. Liberal and libertarian. Do not forget the difference between liberal as intended in the US and the liberal economic thoughts. That's quite different. I will make a presentation about these differences. Anyway, you have all this bunch of people, some of them extremely powerful, that embraced the circular economy philosophy. And also big organizations like European Union, United Nations, the World Economic Forum, everybody is talking about that, and it becomes very popular. Nowadays is as popular as ever. And it becomes so popular also because it sounds well. And who doesn't want a better world? Who doesn't want a world less polluted? And in certain way, some of its principles have been applied. For example, you can see throughout the Western world diminishing of the use of plastic bags. Plastic bags polluted, so little by little they are thrown away. And there will be some sort of substitution, usually more expensive, in some cases much more expensive, that substitute plastic bags with other things that probably polluted as well or in a similar way than plastic bag, but are considered ecologically sustainable, which is the word that drives most of the economies of the world. But let's see, so we have all a bunch of people, institutions, companies, groups that embraced the circular economy concept. But the problem, let's see if could work or maybe if not, and in reality is simply a fashion of the moment doomed to fail. So we all agree that it is logic because it sounds well. But during the 70s, actually 1 year later, there was a crucial event, the end of the Bretton Woods Agreement. So the United States went out of these agreements and it became the world of fiat currencies. So the difference between the Bretton Woods system and the fiat currencies is that through the fiat currency system, which is the one that we have nowadays, you have the opportunity of governments to create money out of thin air, just with a simple click of a computer. At the same time, please remember that you had an expansion of the global economy, what is called globalization. And thanks to globalization, and we do not have to forget what globalization is, you have first a better life for all the economies. For example, China during the 70s was extremely poor. Nowadays probably is, if it is not already number one, it will be soon the number one economic power in the world. So you had many developing nations that improved their living conditions thanks to globalization. At the same time, another effect that you had in globalization is an heavy increase in competence between companies. So, in the market, you have an increase of the products offered in the market. And the different companies started to compete between them in a very aggressive way. So, usually, in order to compete, what it happened, it was the cut of cost and the redesign of products. So the quality of the product from the 70s to today, it has diminished abruptly. Nowadays, the same product are of less and less quality. For example, if you drive a Mercedes, compare the weight of the Mercedes in the 70s and what it weighs today. You see, for example, in car, a lot of plastic component and a door or the back door of the car is extremely lighter. 3 years ago, I rented a car in Europe. When I arrived in Europe, so I rented a car, and I put my bag on the back of the car. I closed the door, and the door started to deformate. Impressive. You wouldn't have seen the same in a car made in the 70s or in the 70s, or even in a car made in the year 2000. So, in order to compete, the different manufacturers have been reducing the quality of their products because of globalization. So, thanks to globalization, you have the competitiveness between different countries and different products around the world and different companies to increase dramatically. And the only way for many companies to survive was to cut costs, redesign the product, and reduce quality. So, generally speaking, worldwide, you have a reduction of quality in goods and services. And it is the only way to compete with globalization. But at the same time, you have circular economy ideas. And the foundation of the circular economy idea is to have products that could be reused. So you have first the competition, that reduced quality of the products. Second, you have to keep a certain amount of product in order to sustain your company. Then you have companies that are quoted in the stock exchange. In the stock exchange, you have several, around the year, you have earnings announcement, and if a company, let's say Nike, announce that will have earnings reduction, immediately its stock price will drop. So imagine Nike that produce a pair of shoes that last 5 years. So the number of shoes that Nike produces will drop dramatically. What will be the result? Well, also its stock price would drop, but even more dramatically than the production. So most of the company, from Nike to Apple, maybe they say that they are committed with circular economy, but are they really committed? Let's talk about the case of Apple. Apple make very nice telephone, and all around the different countries of the world and the different continents, everybody wants an Apple phone. And if you go to an Apple store and you buy your phone, it's like making a present. It's like your birthday. They give you a nice package and you start to open it. It's like to receive a present, and a very expensive present. So Apple says we are really committed, but in fact, if you look at the package of their products, to begin, even if you look at how long the product lasts, maybe the philosophy is not that circular as they say. Why? Because they need to make every year a certain amount of phones. In the electronic world, actually you have one thing that is the programmed life of product. What does it mean? That after a certain time, the electronic product that you buy, they don't work anymore. So you need to purchase a new one. Probably, if it is convenient for company to recycle and reuse, they will take the old product and they will reuse some of the components, the ones that are economically convenient. So most of the entities that embraced the circular economy concept did it just because it sounds good, it sounds nice, and just for their image. Nowadays, you wouldn't be able to say, I am against circular economy. There will be a lot of customers that they won't buy your products. So you have to say, if you are a company, actually you have to say, I am for the circular economy. Circular economy is the future. But actually it has some good idea. For example, to reduce the packaging will reduce the waste. To have products that are recyclable, it helps in order to improve the environment. But in its core essence, in its core philosophy, it is just doomed to fail, because companies, they need to make more and more products in order to compete, in order to stay in the market, and also in order to provide food to their workers. So it's very easy. In some aspects of circular economy, makes sense, but it is not the revolution as you may have listened. It is something logical, but at the same time, it is not a game changer philosophy that will change the way you live. you like and the way that could change your life. But thank you for the attention. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends.